Peanut butter jelly time. No, not peanut butter jelly time, but it's story time. Today, for the first time, I have like a little short romance story, love story, if you may, to share with you. If that interests you on this Wayward Wednesday, just stay tuned. But I promise you, it has something to do with International Women's Day, so it's not completely wayward or out of the blue. See you soon. Yes, so I know it will look a little self-serving and things like that, but I am sharing the story first of all because for me, every time I think about International Women's Day, I think about the story, but also because I want you to feel empowered to do what the hell you want. Don't let others have any say in your happiness. If you love someone, when you know, there's no guarantee that the longer you're with them before you marry them or you move in with them, the better the outcome will be. The outcome will just be the same. If you wait, you're just delaying the beginning of your beautiful story. And this story tells you about that. There was this couple in Brazil, okay, my parents, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but UN has declared in 1977, the March 8th, it is a day to celebrate women's rights and world peace. My parents met in 1979. And in 1979, we were not a democracy in Brazil. We were still a dictatorship. Freedom of speech and of expression was not really a thing. So women obviously were not able to celebrate. There was no such thing as world peace. And this is the backstory because it will come back later. My parents met, they were dating for 3 months. And then on March 7th, they go and watch a movie. And the movie was New York, and Paul Newman at the end. Just spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the movie, just skip ahead. But he jumps in front of the car and he just tells his love interest, please don't go, marry me. My mom drops my dad off because she was the driver in the situation. And as my mom is driving away, my dad thinks it's going to be really funny if he just jumps in front of the car and say, don't go away, marry me. My mom turns the car off and say, okay. And they, at the moment, have this brilliant idea. They were both activists. My dad more so than my mom. My mom was what I call like a hippie, a boutique hippie, because her parents were wealthy. So she fought for the rights, but she never really had to want for anything. But my dad also didn't have to want for anything, but he was a true activist. And they remember that the next day is women's, International Women's Day, and they can't really celebrate it. So they decide not only to get married, even though they only know each other for 3 months, to get married the following day, because as long as Brazil is a dictatorship, every year when they celebrate their anniversary, they also celebrate women's rights and world peace. Sounded good. I think they were young. They were like 20, 21 or something, like they were like super young. Sounded ideal, right? So why not? Then the following day, my mom leaves home because they agreed to meet at the courthouse. And my mom tells my grandma, bye, Mom. And my grandma asks, where are you going today? What are you doing? And my mom answers, oh, I'm getting married today. My grandma thought it was a joke. So she's like, oh, bless you be, child. Good luck with that. My mom meets my dad. They get married. My grandfather was a prosecutor. So during like lunchtime in the courthouse or whatever, the judge that married my parents happened to be a friend of my grandfather's. And he says, his name is Fernando. Hey, Fernando, I married a daughter today. My grandfather was like, no, she doesn't even have a boyfriend. Of course he didn't. I was like, no, seriously, I did. He couldn't leave because his afternoon was packed with trials or whatever, right? He can't just go and abandon his clients. So he has to wait until the end of the day. He comes in the house fuming and he goes, Fatima, is it true that you got married today? And my mom says, yes. But I told mom. And then he calls, Maria, you knew? I was like, I thought the girl was joking. And then my grandfather looks at my mom and says, you know what? Just bring your husband here. I want to meet the guy. The rest is history. They were very lucky. I wish I had the luck they were at the time, because they made this very, out of the blue experience, not even knowing. Like, honestly, they didn't think about anything. But before they knew it, like, my grandfather was buying them a house. My other grandfather was just furnishing the house or whatever. They didn't really have to do anything. They really started the rest of their life. And they lived well in an up and down, but a marriage nonetheless, for many, many, many years, until we get to January 2013. When just out of the blue, my dad comes to my mom and says, I think we should get divorced. And my mom goes, okay. In less than a month, they just signed the papers. My mom stayed in the house. My dad moved into his brand new apartment. And that was it. Just like that. My mom, at the time, she was living her best single life. I mean, she didn't date anyone or anything, but she was out with her friends, socializing, going to every movie she wanted, traveling whenever she wanted. And my dad was doing his thing as well. Until a year later, both of them just came to this conclusion that they're happier with each other. So just the same way they married the first time and they got divorced, they just married again. He sold his apartment and he moved in with my mom. And they stayed together until the day he died. And yeah, I mean, I'm really proud and honored to be, the fruit of this story. And I think it's a really good story, and I love what they represented. And even though I'm not here to, air my parents' dirty laundry, it was not always the best relationship, but it was a beautiful relationship nonetheless. And I think they were better people for having met each other, and I'm glad they didn't wait. And I just want you to know and feel empowered that to live your love story, even if it's a story of self-love. You don't need someone else. But if you love a guy, a girl, a non-binary person, love is love. Do not let anyone have any say in your story, because I know whatever you choose to do, it's gonna be beautiful, and I hope it works out for you and that you're happy for the rest of your life, however it may be, and whatever your story takes you. But the only person that has a say in it is you, and I hope you know that. And there's never too late or too early. When you know. Just think about that, live your story, and until next time, be the hummingbird.